I ain't got no worries. I ain't got no worries. See them strummers keep me up, so I ain't got no worries. I ain't got no worries. I ain't got no worries. You see money right there, that's Tucci right there. Turn it, that's Mac-Man right there. And we ain't got no worries. You see right there, red bone mangoes right there. See them drummies right there. Yeah, we ain't got no worries. Tucci in this, everybody should be.
Welcome to another episode of the SD4L show. I'm Justin Thind. I'm here with my co-host Brian Massam. Brian, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How about you?
It's a good episode we got prepared here. Coming off a win that I'm sure Michigan State fans were excited about. And we have joining us today one of the guys that had one of the most impactful plays, one of the biggest highlight plays from the game, and that's Michigan State tight end Maliq Carr. Maliq, how you doing today?
What's up? I'm good.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us for sure. So we're going to ask you just probably stuff that you're used to answering from in terms of when you arrived at Michigan State. Just jumping back to the beginning of the timeline, when you chose Michigan State, when you hit the portal, what kind of went into your decision back then?
Just being closer to home, and I kind of knew Michigan State from the beginning of my recruiting process, but I didn't feel like it was the right choice at the time. And after that, it was just like my cousin was here coaching basketball.
Yeah.
Football looked like it was on the up and coming. And
yeah, for sure. So in that process, you switched from wide receiver to tight end. What has that process been like, the changing of positions? I know you obviously got to block more, unfortunately, but you what has that been like for you?
It was a struggle at first, to be honest.
Yeah.
But now it's getting to like where I'm just comfortable in the game. That's all it is like playing lower is a hard thing for me. Like that was like one of my main things, because as a receiver I never really had to be low other than like breaking.
Right.
But now like start, stance, everything is low.
Yeah.
So you're seeing blocking ain't easy, right? It ain't a natural position. Playing catch is natural, right? But blocking an edge rusher, that ain't natural. So we all grew up playing catch. I mean, but tight end's a very, very unique position. Speaking of tight end, has Daniel Barker helped you continue to get better at tight end, and what has he meant to your development over the year?
He's been helping me a little bit with his knowledge of the game, and also as far as like how to manage yourself off the field and on the field and still have fun with it.
Yeah, good to hear. So yesterday was kind of, I would guess, probably your biggest in-game memory so far. Maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me on that. But just got to ask you, what was going through your head while you were running down the field, running towards the student section? I'm sure maybe you can hear him yelling. Maybe not. You're too focused. But, yeah, just take us through, like, what was going through your head while you were making that play, while you were running down the field?
As soon as I caught it, to be honest, I thought I was going to get tackled. But number 15 didn't make a good decision. I don't know why he drove for the ball. Like, that confused me, to be honest, when I seen him on film. He did what he did, and after that, I was just like, oh, I can run. Once I realized he missed the tackle, I was ready to run. And as far as the student section goes, I didn't hear him until I, like, got up. I can't hear anything when I'm running. When I'm running, everything clears. Like, I don't hear anything. I just see the field, and the touchdown looked so far.
Is that because you got slower because you're a tight end, or you got the same speed as a receiver? Why does it look so far?
Earlier in the game, I kind of tweaked my ankle a little bit. So it was like in the second quarter I did, and I was just like, well, I didn't know I could run this fast still. So, okay, let's go.
Yeah, that was I was in the stands for that game, and Maliq caught it, and you're thinking, okay, great catch, good delivery by Thorne, first down, right? Suddenly, like, another second passes, like, he hasn't been brought down. Three guys are, like, pursuing from behind. I'm like, all right, it's going to be a 25-yard gain. It's going to be really great. He just kept running, and everyone's, like, just losing their minds in the stands. Fantastic play. But So I guess, Maliq, what has it been like for you this season? You're getting many more snaps than you were in the past. 23 snaps, I believe, this game. What has this season been like for you compared to last year, just in terms of, I guess, your approach, or just how do you feel about this season and you having an increased role?
On every other football team I've been on, naturally I've had a bigger role, so it feels more comfortable to me now that I know I have a more important role, and like mentally it's a little relaxing and lets me just like play my game and help my teammates out.
Yeah, definitely. So, Maliq, you play basketball as well as football. What is the difference between Tom Izzo and Mel Tucker?
I think Coach Izzo is like more expressions in your face, and Coach Tucker is more, I'm gonna say what I got to say, and there's not gonna be no facial expressions. But I mean, they're both great coaches. So
yeah. So then, what's something that's similar about the two of them?
they care about their players outside of their sports. Like it's bigger than football and basketball to both of them.
Totally agree with that. Let's go back to the expressions on Coach Izzo's face. You were very diplomatic in that response. Could you expand on that a little bit?
You're gonna get him in trouble.
I just want to know. I mean, I was a trustee, and I'm still afraid of Izzo. So tell us about his expressions.
I mean, isn't really anything to explain. We all watched the game. We all watched it. I don't really have that much to say. But
Yeah. And I have a feeling he's not talking about the expression where Izzo was mic'd up the one time. He's like, "Come on, guys, we can play better."
Yeah.
That's not probably what he's
Maliq,
talking about.
I don't know if you saw that. That coach mic'd up one time at halftime. He's going, "Come on, we can do better." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure that's how those huddles go." You know?
Yeah. So, Maliq, when you're getting ready for a game, what's going through your headphones? What do you like to listen to?
Rod Wave, number one.
Okay.
Lil Wayne has to play, like, I have like 2 or 3 songs I got to play Lil Wayne's. But Rod Wave is basically like the guy.
Okay. What's your favorite Lil Wayne project?
Carter 5.
Okay.
Carter 5.
Okay. I'm a Carter 4 guy, but respect.
Bye week, and we know who's coming up in 2 weeks. Has preparation changed at all? Knowing who we got on tap?
Nah, really a game is just a game. And we're going to prepare for every game like it's our last. So that's just how it is.
Good. Do you miss home? You get back home to Oak Park at all? See Coach? See the fam? You get back there much?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, Sundays we got to do some things up until like 1 o'clock, but our drive is nothing. You know, I was driving from Belleville to Oak Park to go to school, so I mean, 45 minutes.
That's awesome. That is wonderful. So, how excited are you? And I know it's early, but how excited are you for 10 days from now? Too early to get excited? A lot of game planning in between?
Honestly, I don't get excited until like maybe into warm-ups. Like the rest of the stuff, like leading up to that, I'm worried about everything they can do. I'm trying to see any little minor detail that I can expose going against the opponent, and that's just how we were taught to go about things. So it's easier to just look in the details and remember everything you have to do, because I mean the game is based off of how we play, not them.
So, Maliq, going into this game, I guess everybody has a different approach. Social media, Michigan fans, actually even more so, Michigan players and their media have made a habit out of dismissing Michigan State publicly, giving them bulletin board material, just going about it in a reckless way that has backfired on them year after year. Do you ever pay attention to what their players or their coaches or their media are saying about Michigan State and the way that Michigan has more talent and should win and things of that nature? Or do you not really look at that at all?
I scroll through Twitter and Instagram a lot, so
Okay.
I see it. I mean, like, who really cares?
Okay. Yeah.
But like, do players really care? Does it affect their confidence? Do they read a lot about what's going on?
Like other players, not just you.
Not an issue. Does it
I
bother?
think most players don't read it because we're geared towards not reading it. But if they do, if anything, it boosts their confidence just a little bit more, makes them work a little bit harder in practice, and just gives them more of an edge.
Yeah.
Tip on their shoulder.
So are you a matchup come 10 days from now?
Oh, yeah.
Can
I
any
think that
can any linebacker cover you? Safety.
He's not. He's too
It's only,
humble.
like, it's one linebacker that has a chance to cover me, in my opinion, and that's only my little brother. And that's only because he sees me all the time. He grew up.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
love it.
That's
I
he's
love
talking
it.
about
It's
Jeremiah
safety.
Beasley.
Yeah.
Great prospect. Michigan State's after him hard.
Okay.
What have you talked to him about it, recruiting at all? Have you given him any advice on the process, just about how to go about it or anything like that?
All I told him is to go have fun, enjoy the
Right.
experience. It's nothing like it, so just enjoy it. Because once you're in college, yeah, none of that's real. So
None of it.
just have fun with it.
So
Yeah.
hey, you know what? That's so
That's great
realistic.
advice.
Very mature of you, because you're right. Until you get there, none of it's real. Enjoy the process, enjoy the moment. But once you get to college, everybody's all state, everybody's all American, everybody's ranked, and it's just, it's who's going to grind and work and come out every day to be the best. So that's great advice.
Brian, how many recruiting stars did you have?
1.5.
I see.
Yeah. I did visit, I think I visited Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Canceled Colorado. Went to Michigan State. I canceled Penn State.
Really? You canceled on Penn State?
I did. I did.
They're lost.
I knew where my heart was.
I see.
That was in East Lansing.
Well, Maliq, we appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck, not only this upcoming game, but for the rest of the season, rest of your career. It's been great to see you transform and transition into tight end and see more and more snaps every week. And we wish you the best of luck and appreciate your time.
Thank you. What can I get one of those hoodies though? Because I've been seeing people. With these.
Hold on. Let's, before we get into the hoodie, tell us a little bit about your NIL deal with WWE. What do you got going on over there?
It's basically like putting a foot in WWE when football's over. Like when it's all said and done, NFL career, college career, all of it. And if I want to go do it, I already got a foot.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I grew up the biggest, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Macho Man, Savage. Like, I love The Rock, Stone Cold. That was my generation.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Was that in black and white?
No, it's color. But probably until maybe 2 years ago is when I believed it was fake.
Oh.
Yeah, because
I
for
see.
40 years I thought it was real.
Interesting.
But
Really?
that's still. No, I'm just kidding. but forget that it's not real. You got 320-pound men like tremendous athletes. I mean, they're coming off the top rope doing flips. You got to give them credit. There's some tremendous athletes.
It's about to be Maliq soon when football's done.
Yeah, because I don't know how they do some of that stuff. I'm scared of heights. I don't know.
And we're gonna. What's his Mickey? God, he'd come off the top into nails, into tables. I forgot his name, but that's gonna be you. It's gonna be you. So,
Yeah.
but we're gonna get you one of these hoodies. We're
Yeah.
gonna get you one of these hoodies, and we're gonna take care of you. So,
Appreciate you,
we'll
Maliq.
take care of that. We appreciate you coming on. So, we'll take care of you, and we wish you all the best of luck here in a few days, and we also wish you the best of luck in your career. And we're excited to watch you grow as not only a player but as a person. because once a Spartan Dawg, always a Spartan Dawg. So good luck in 10 days, and God bless and go green. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Go White.
Take care. Thank you. Maliq Carr, what a wonderful young man, huh?
Yeah, it's transferred in from Purdue the offseason before last season, and he's worked hard. It was not an easy transition for someone to go from wide receiver to tight end. Your entire approach is now suddenly blocking first as opposed to obviously receiving first. So he's worked hard, and just a year and a half into that transition, we see him making plays like he did last game, and it's great to see.
Great to see. On to Wisconsin. Not on Wisconsin. On to Wisconsin.
I see what you did there.
It was a win sorely needed, Justin. Talk to us a little bit.
I would agree. I think this was a game that was winnable for Michigan State. I think this was a game where they had an opportunity to stop the bleeding against a team that had a new coach, which seemed to help them and gave them a new coach boost against Northwestern. Maybe even helped them against Michigan State. But at the end of the day, Michigan State is a team that I expected would come out in that game, and they did. In terms of kind of the key takeaways, a couple of things that really stood out to me was the way that the defense improved with Jacob Slade and Xavier Henderson back, just schematically and structurally all the way across the board. They seem to be a little more fluid in their pre-snap communications and things of that nature. I know Braylon Allen had one long run that kind of boosted his rushing stats, but he was kind of held in check. And then the first drive of the game where Wisconsin scored, Xavier Henderson was out for most of that drive. So really just two drives in which Henderson played that Wisconsin scored in regulation. Brian, what are some things that stood out to you?
Credit goes to Scotty Hazelton and the defense. I mean, you saw them change things up and shift to a 4-3. Mm-hmm. You saw them move Jacoby Windman to linebacker. And I think it paid dividends. Obviously, when you get X back, Barrow back, Slade back, and you get some of the dogs back, that's going to help.
Right.
There's no question it's going to help. But I really thought the change in the front seven, the way, and then the movement of, in my opinion, one of the top defensive players in the country, putting him at linebacker, I really thought made a difference.
Yeah.
The naysayers will complain and talk about that Wisconsin doesn't have the best passing attack. But still, I thought that the defense held up pretty well and played really well.
Yeah, and Minnesota didn't have the best passing attack, and we saw what they did. So I take that comment with a grain of salt. So absolutely.
I also, I thought our receivers really went up and got the ball. You saw Jaden Reed and Keon Coleman, win those 50-50 balls and play at a different level. I also thought the offensive line played well. They looked much better than the week prior. I thought that 0 turnovers was a huge factor. Secondary looked better. I mean, kudos to X. Xavier Henderson really came back and made a huge difference. Mm-hmm. I think not only schematically, but communication-wise, right? On the back end, when you have a leader in the back end, being able to communicate, because there's 3 levels of the defense.
Yeah,
I think that really made a huge difference when you have a leader back there. And I thought for the most part, we minus a couple plays, the defense looked solid, and Slade coming back, I think, was a huge difference.
With Slade coming back, what happened there was Michigan State the last few weeks did not have good production from 3 of their defensive line spots. And then the 4th one, Jacoby Windman, was being double-teamed as a result because they were not afraid of the other 3 guys in that spot. Now in this game, with Slade coming back, that freed up basically everyone on the line. Everyone got single-teamed. When Jacoby would blitz, there would be nobody there to chip and help for the most part. And as a result, the entire defensive line unit played better just because of Slade being the one addition back this week. Also, speaking of what you said about Jacoby Windman being moved back to linebacker, that was a great move because, as I mentioned, Jacoby had been getting double-teamed pretty much the entire season after those first 2 games because everyone kind of knew who he was at that point, wanted to stop him at all costs. So now what Scotty Hazelton did here was he took a guy that was being basically bottled up due to no fault of his own the past few weeks, put him in an entirely new position, freed him up, bolstered that level of the defense. naturally Slade bolstered the first line of defense, and then Xavier came back at safety. So Michigan State saw all three levels of their defense get bolstered, one because of a coaching move, and two because the guy's coming back. And that's why Wisconsin had 2 touchdown drives in regulation while Xavier Henderson was on the field.
This is a trickle-down effect, right? When you get Slade back, it frees guys to make plays.
Right.
From Windman, you saw Simeon Barrow had a sack there.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it frees other guys to make plays. When you get a senior, a veteran back on the back end, and he's able to communicate with the second and third level,
right,
that makes a huge difference. You didn't see the blown assignments. You didn't see guys running free.
Yeah.
You didn't see a lot of miscommunication.
Right.
That's leadership. That's leadership. That's experience back there. And as much as we want to pinpoint it on the coaching, it's more about experience, guys getting back there and communicating with the second and third level.
Right.
And we saw a lot of that. We actually saw a lot of that.
Right. And especially like when I have been saying the last few weeks that some of the criticism against Scotty was unfair and it was players not coming through in certain situations, I have to be consistent and also credit the players now that Xavier is back, Slade is back. These guys coming back have really elevated the defense. Again, I know it's only Wisconsin, but far worse offenses have made this defense look bad.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I still put a little stock into that, but got to give credit to the players. If I was saying that they were the reason, kind of the last few weeks of not balling out on defense, because this past week they were a big reason.
Every
why.
Spartan in that stadium, when they saw that third down play and we had that botched field goal, and then we saw, an interception dropped in overtime. Every Spartan said, "Oh no, not again! We're gonna lose this game."
Mm-hmm.
And Mel and the kids the young men found a way to pull this game out. And those are confidence builders.
Right.
Those are culture changers.
Right.
And which I think are very important for the maturation of a program.
Yeah.
They absolutely are.
Yeah.
So when you go to like the impact players of the game, and you go back, you can, QB1 had a hell of a game.
Right.
QB1 was 21 for 28, 265 yards. You saw Jaden Reed had 9 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Keon Coleman, 5 receptions for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And when your playmakers make plays, when they go up and get the ball, and they get those 50-50 balls, that makes a huge difference.
Yep.
As we saw. I mean, play after play, year after year, game after game, Jaden Reed is just a gamer.
Right.
Hands down. When he's in that game, it's a completely different offense.
Yeah.
When you can go up and get a 50-50 ball on offense, the impact that has on the offense cannot be measured. Do we have a Thorne to Reed highlight there?
Yeah.
Or do I have to prompt you every time, Owen? Because you're asleep at the wheel.
Oh, Owen was over here texting me about how the Phillies keep making errors.
Oh, is he? Our concern right now are not the Phillies.
Hey,
Keon Coleman. There he is.
Speak for yourself.
Keon Coleman. We only care about the Jets and the Spartans. That's all we care about.
No.
Well, I mean, I would love to see Phil in the World Series, if I'm being honest. That'd be sweet.
I'll take it.
8-5. Right now, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
But I'll take it. It's early. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. So I think, look, when you can stretch the field and you can throw the ball down the field with QB1 and Keon and Jaden.
Yeah.
That changes up the offense dramatically.
Right.
And then let's get to Jacoby Windman.
Yeah. So Jacoby not only did, like we said, functionally the defense play better with him at linebacker, but he also made 2 huge plays. He had that interception on the, I think it was in the first quarter, and Jacoby credited that to watching tape and the defense being prepared by the coaching staff, and he immediately recognized what play that was coming, and he just fell back into the zone and took that. And then in overtime, you cannot commit turnovers if you're in overtime in college football rules. And Jacoby forced one off of Braylon Allen, who's one of the best players in the entire conference, one of the best running backs in the nation, and basically set up the win for Michigan State. So once again, just a game changer. He had 11 tackles as well. He had 2 tackles for loss. Just a guy that continues to over and over again find ways to swing the momentum in the game.
Not only that, he had 5 solos. He had an INT. Do we have that on Jacoby? I mean, he was a difference maker. I mean, he wrecked the game. He was a game wrecker.
Yeah.
You saw the way, and I think the position change allowed him to roam freely. It allowed him to avoid the double teams. And I thought he had a hell of a game. Look at him drop back into coverage there.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you got a guy that can play D-line, then go line up and play linebacker and drop back into coverage, and is able to play the run like the way he plays the run, and is able to make plays the way he's able to make plays. You know, you got a guy that's going to play on Sundays.
Yeah.
As long as he's in the right position, you got a guy that's going to play on Sundays. So, I tell you what, he's been a heck of an addition. Absolutely.
Yep.
Done a hell of a job. I think he was a Defensive Player of the Week again.
Yep, third time, and nobody has ever won it 4 times in a season in Big Ten history. So we'll see if he can put
that will happen in 10 days.
Wow.
What do you think, Owen?
That he's going to win it again?
Yeah. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay, next week. Next week.
Just say yes because you don't want to doubt
right.
Jacoby
Yes. Jacoby looks good, but that means we stopped Michigan. So
and we've only stopped them 10 out of the last 14 years.
That's true. I mean, just a little bit higher of a task this year.
Why? What changes for us?
J.J. McCarthy, maybe.
What about him?
Our secondary.
He already won the Heisman in September.
That's true.
They've had 4 September Heisman winners.
No, you're right.
Did you count Joe?
Blake Corum? Did you Blake Corum?
He won in September too. Blake Corum did. Tate Forcier did. Devin Gardner did.
Joe Milton.
Bernard Robinson.
Joe
Milton. They've had 5 September Heismans.
It's pretty good.
I'm sure you're forgetting a couple in there too.
No. They've had, 5 September Heismans, and they've won several national championships on signing day.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah. So, that first Tuesday in February, they've hoisted many trophies. So
it's not wrong.
We're going to, at the end of the day, we got to play the game. Mm-hmm. Right, in hostile territory in a blue out, I guess. I was wearing blue.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I think so. I think so. Like they tried.
How do you wear blue? You paint your face blue.
They tried to do a maze out.
They did. Because last year at Washington, it was a maze out at night, so it was a lot cooler, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah.
But this year they did it like last week against Penn State.
But it was like cold and people didn't have maze jackets.
So you had the winter jacket on.
Is that
black,
what happened?
Whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the student section had the pom-poms or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, the rest of the crowd was just normal crowd.
Wait, so why didn't they give the entire stadium pom-poms?
I couldn't tell you.
Wow.
I don't know.
Seems like they dropped the ball.
I guess, but now it's gonna be blue. They're gonna be blue pom-poms instead. So
COVID.
COVID.
They're still in a deficit.
And major hits to the budget.
I see.
COVID. They're requiring vaccine mandates for all their students.
They
they're going to pack 110,000 in the stadium.
At Spartan Stadium, they had towels for every single person that walked in the stadium.
It's to wipe off your sweat.
I know the buddies that I came with, they had like 9 towels
Keeps
per
your
person.
butt warm.
So
MSU heads into a bye week. Justin, tell us. What did they accomplish during a bye week?
Hopefully not any injuries. Everybody needs to get healthier, needs to use this as a time to rest up. And hopefully if Michigan State can come into next week's game against Michigan healthier and they have Jeff Petrowski back, hopefully, who knows, just my speculation. Kendall Brooks, who was out last week, hopefully he will be back as well. And nobody else gets hurt during practice. This is going to be the healthiest Michigan State has been since before week 1. And that would be a huge key. And, they just need to focus. They got extra time to watch tape. They got to look at all the keys of Michigan, their offense, defense. They got to understand all the looks that they're going to be presented with. And that's the 2 main things, is get healthier and all the way dial into the preparation. Brian, as a player, what did you always hope to get out of the bye week? How did you hope to take advantage of that time?
Sleep.
Okay, that's
Rest.
true. That's true.
Rest and sleep. I never liked the bye week though. Just it gets you out of your rhythm. Mm-hmm. But this late in the season, it's very, very beneficial.
Right.
If you can get an extra week of rest, and if you can, there's more fundamental drills that are worked on, as opposed to more game planning drills. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just mental preparation more than anything.
On your Saturdays, what would you be drinking? A little bit of like a certain beverage, like since you're not playing on bye weeks?
Oh, yeah, all day. We would start at noon.
Okay.
I remember one bye week, Michigan was playing Penn State.
Okay.
No, Colorado.
Oh.
At
Really?
Colorado.
Okay.
I just never forget this. I don't know
That's
why.
weird. What year is this?
93 or 4.
Okay.
And Colorado threw a little flat route.
Uh-huh.
The Michigan receiver, DB, came to pick it and was gone. Dropped it. And I'll never forget what Key Jackson said. "Oh, Nelly, I hope he don't have a dog." Because, you kick your dog when you're mad.
Right.
I just, for some reason, that sticks in my head. And I just could not stop laughing.
Really?
I mean, I don't know why that sticks in my head.
Extremely random.
It was so random. I'm thinking about the announcers talking about this guy kicking his dog. I don't know why. I've never forgot that.
Probably wouldn't fly today.
No.
Oh, today you're canceled, fired,
It's true.
cut, scholarship.
Yeah. So when you're in the bye week, do you, I guess, just have 2 weeks of practicing against the simulated looks that the other team is running, or is it 1 week of you just working on your own stuff, and then the second week is that sort of game prep where you're preparing directly against their packages and their looks?
That's a very good question. So a couple days extra on rest, and then you would spend a couple days back then.
Yeah.
Right, working like it's August camp. Just
see.
working on drills, reps.
Right.
I don't know how it is nowadays, but
Right.
I'm assuming there's more game planning because the game plans are so much more complex. But it was more like spring ballish,
Makes sense.
drill work, especially for the younger guys, get them more reps.
Yeah.
And so focus on that. That's why the bowl practices are so important.
Right.
Because you get 20 some extra practices.
Exactly.
For guys that don't play.
Yeah.
It's the bowls mean a lot because it's an extra spring ball.
Yeah.
For the younger generation more than it is.
Yeah.
For the games, and that's where sometimes fans don't really understand that because you're getting another spring ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't like it, but
Right.
I never had a bye week before the Michigan game, so this is it's an advantage. It can be.
Yeah.
It could be negative too because you get out of your normal routine. So
Yeah.
so we'll see. It'll be interesting, right? We'll talk
Yeah.
about it next week, and we're gonna go one day at a time. One day at a time. Spartan Dogs in the NBA. What do we got here?
Let's put it up.
Nice graphic tweeted out. Talk to us, Justin. Tell us.
Yeah, Michigan State has several guys in the NBA this year. You can see on the screen there. A lot of Max Christie, I believe, yesterday was 1 for 1. So he started off as a 100% shooter for the Lakers. And you see Xavier Tillman, Bryn Forbes, Draymond, obviously, Trip J down there, Jaren Jackson. So a lot of guys Michigan State has representing the green and white this year in the NBA.
Wow. So who has the potential out of those 6 to have a breakout season?
I think Jaren has been progressing so well each of the years that at this point he probably wouldn't be considered a breakout candidate. But Gary Harris, who I don't know, I forgot to mention his name there, he had a couple down years, partially due to injuries and things of that nature. He really came on after the trade deadline last year because I remember at some point he was going to be a buyout candidate for the Magic, but instead he just took off and was hooping, and they just kept him. So I think if he can put together a full season, just like he did post-trade deadline, his career is going to be back to where it was when it was at the peak. So I think him being a comeback player of the year kind of guy is what I'm looking at this year.
How about Max Christie at the Lakers? Where do you see him sitting? And what kind of year? Developmental year?
Yeah, I was gonna say when you asked where do I see him sitting, I was gonna say maybe 8th on the bench.
Okay.
But that's all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need him to be playing tons of minutes. What you need is him to be learning. He needs to be a sponge. He needs to have one of those careers where the first 2 years he's just learning and growing, and kind of a year 3 is where he kind of takes off. Like Blazers drafted a kid really high a few years ago. Anthony Simons. He didn't do much his first 2 years. Now I think he just signed for a max in year after his 4th year after his rookie deal ended. That's kind of the trajectory I look at when I think of Max Christie.
You know what really offended me? Is
What?
how many rings does Draymond have?
4 now, I believe.
So here's a guy with 4 rings. How many years in the league?
I don't know.
10?
A good amount.
More
Right.
than that, I think.
4
I'll look it up.
rings. 9 or 10 years in the league.
Yeah.
And then he just gets assaulted by Jordan Poole's face.
That's true. You're right on that.
I mean, why would you assault a how many time NBA All-Star and the guy's a 4-time champion? An absolute lack of respect only because he went to Michigan State. That's the only reason why. So Jordan Poole decides to hit him with his face. And to me, that's disrespect.
11th year, by the way. He's in
11th
his
year.
11th
Yeah.
year.
This absolute disrespect, 4 rings, and gets assaulted by somebody from that school down the road.
I mean, you know a thing or two about fighting. Would you put your hands down like Jordan Poole did?
An attack with my face?
Yeah.
No, I'd attack with my fist. But if I'm on the other side and somebody attacks me,
Yeah.
I have to defend myself.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just,
I got you.
at the end of the day, are they on the same team?
Yes.
Yes.
There's no love loss.
It doesn't seem like it, but we don't.
There's no love loss.
knows?
Jordan had a nice pocket pass to Draymond on a
He
pick
did.
and roll. So
Okay, so
Yeah,
we're
they're
back.
back.
We're okay?
yeah, it
Yeah.
seems like it. I was analyzing that. Jordan didn't look at Draymond when they dapped each other up, but there was a dap on
Right.
the
There
defensive
was.
possession.
I mean, if I hit you with my
There's a quick
face,
tap on
if
the
I
shoulder.
hit you with my face, would you look at me? Would I look at you?
It depends. It's been
I'd be
it's been
guilty.
10 days.
I'd be guilty.
Yeah.
I would feel a sense of guilt. If I
Yeah.
assaulted you with my face, I would feel guilty.
Talking about guilty, I mean, the Phillies just lost. Justin, any reaction to that?
Oh my
Can we wait till after the show?
We had Aaron Nola
The show's
on the mound.
PG.
They're gonna go into Philly. They're gonna win all 3 of those games.
Okay.
That's what's gonna
There's
happen.
a quote right there.
Yeah.
There it is.
As long as we got
Predictions.
one of them. As
Yeah.
long as we got one
That's
of them.
true.
They still won in San Diego. Now they're gonna take all 3 at the bank.
Okay.
That's all we need.
Let me see it right
got
there.
that, time zone change.
Yeah.
We're going to play at 10 a.m.
Yep. They're gonna play against a real fan base, and they're gonna.
I
they're
know
gonna see what
San
it's like.
Diego's not
Oh.
transient.
Okay.
Yeah, they've done well for themselves this playoff series, but at the bank, Ken Rosenthal's phone was giving him noise warnings in like the 2nd inning of a 0-0
true.
game.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tennessee was loud this weekend, too.
yeah. Neyland Stadium.
Earthquakes or whatever?
Great.
Oh,
Yeah.
wish
Nick.
I
Anytime
was
Nick
there.
Saban shows up,
I just
Neyland.
wish I was there.
I've been in
I'm not gonna
Neyland
lie.
when Nick was at LSU.
Yeah.
I went down to watch LSU Tennessee, and they sit on top of you. The acoustics.
Yeah.
It is deafening.
That's a bucket list game
It's
right
like
there.
LSU deafening.
Yeah.
So cool. Absolutely cool. How about let's get a little shout out to women's volleyball.
Yes, sir.
Huh? Record attendance. Thank you, Graham Couch, for this tweet. Record attendance, the largest home crowd in MSU volleyball history. 7,326. That is unbelievable. It just looks, it's so fantastic to see.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of talk about gender equity and treating female sports the same, and a lot of it, sometimes people believe is they don't really feel that way, but we do. Like, we think when we see a crowd like that at a women's sporting event, that embodies what Spartan Nation's all about, and it's just such a great thing to see. We should become like Nebraska in volleyball. They sell out every game.
Big
Every
Ten's
match.
huge for
Yeah, Big Ten, you got Nebraska, Penn State.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's good?
Wisconsin's good too.
Yeah.
And that's just so great to see. Absolutely wonderful to see. And we're hoping to see that continue.
Yeah.
And the sports go on. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to get Leah on the show, Coach Johnson.
Yep.
And then we're gonna have to get some of the women's soccer's ranked 15th in the country.
Yeah. They're having a great season.
Eighth now.
Eighth now.
I'm about
sorry.
to talk about.
Segue into
was about to talk
Owens
about it.
360.
Yeah.
Yeah,
give
we
us
ready
more
for it?
info.
We ready
Athletic
for it?
360 update. Give it to us,
Oh, we
Owen.
got Owens 360 MSU Sports Weekly Update. Man, you just let into it, but this women's soccer team, they're on a whole nother level of excellence right now. They have lone possession of the Big Ten Conference lead at the moment. They just keep on rolling. A 1-0 lead over Indiana. Zivana Labovich, she had a goal with an assist coming from Lauren DeBow. Then on Sunday, they took down number 5 Northwestern 2-1. Celia Ganner and Samantha White both scored. Rudy Diodati, She had the assist in that one. Women's soccer, you cannot preach how good they are right now in their turnaround at the moment. Men's soccer, MSU got back on track in conference play with a 4-3 win over Rutgers. Jonathan Stout, he had 2 goals and 2 assists. With the goalkeeper, Owen Finnerty, he had 6 assists. Kellen Landefeld and Grayson Mercer also had goals as well. Over to field hockey, MSU fell to number 3 Northwestern 3-1, but then won in overtime in a thriller over Indiana in a pink game. Celia Ricardo, she had the goal and assist from Ellie Rutherford. Over quickly to MSU volleyball. MSU fell to number 24, Michigan 3-0. They were very close in that one as well, though. And then they dropped a close one to Indiana, 3-2. Leah Johnson still rebranding that program at the moment. And finally, over to MSU hockey. MSU hockey, I mean, they are clicking right now. MSU split the series against UMass Lowell, picking up the win in the opener 4-3. Miroslav Muka, he had 2 goals. Christian Krieger and Tanner Kelly both scored as well. And then in the second game, they did drop that one, a close one, 3-2. Matt Baskell and Daniel Russell, the freshman, he has been fantastic so far for MSU, both scoring in that third period. I will be on the call for the first game of the weekend series against Long Island University. That will be an exciting one to watch. Until next week, I am Owen Ozust with Owen's 360 MSU Sports Weekly Update.
The Night King, Adam Nightingale, turning that program around, putting together a heck of a recruiting class.
He is.
MSU hockey, with the tradition that we have, is going to be back on the map soon, and we are excited.
Could very well be.
All we need is beer at Mun Ice.
Make it happen.
Has that happened yet?
It's not. No.
Aren't you in
It's up
charge
to
of
you.
that?
Yeah.
I'm retired. I own a podcast. That's all I do.
Okay.
I mean, I host a podcast. I don't.
Is that up to Justin? Is Justin you in
Justin's
charge of
involved.
that?
I don't think I have that juice.
Okay.
No, we're gonna call Matt Ishbia.
Ish can make it happen.
Ish can make it happen. So we're gonna work on that. Ish, beer at Mun Ice. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Brian Wasalam, along with my co-host Justin Thind. You are watching the SD4L show. Thank you for joining us. Good night, go green, and God bless.
Please close your eyes, turn around, and count to 9. When you open them, I will be gone.
Okay, 9, 8, 7,